Public Works bent on resolving its current financial crisis through restructuring and reducing its wage bill. The MV Klipper stream docks at Woodbridge Bay as the GEEST Boat celebrates its 100th voyage across the Atlantic. And time is running out for a construction worker who could go without critical brain surgery if his family fails to raise 16,000 euros to make it happen. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details coming up.
We should be sleeping.
Live wider awake with Beautyrest, the only mattress that combines the support of legendary Beautyrest pocketed coil technology with the comfort of air-cool memory foam. Beautyrest, it's you fully charged.
Available exclusively at Quartz. Quartz, bringing value home.
There's a place in Portsmouth that's mellow.
The products and services are just mellow.
Located on Harbour Lane in Portsmouth, next to the St. John's School, it's Lois Bakery.
Lois Bakery offers a wide variety of tasty pastries and breads for your satisfaction.
Baked fresh and soft.
So come to Lois for your tasty pastries. Open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Saturday and from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sundays.
Call 445-4044 today.
A world leader in manufacturing for the cutting professional, Makita's very own diamond blades provide maximum efficiency for coring, cutting, and polishing all types of masonry.
Another good product put out again by Makita.
Longer life, durability, optimum performance. Makita diamond blades provide a powerful edge that lasts.
Nothing nicer than having a good blade.
Go beyond the ordinary. Go with Makita.
This is freedom, this is life. Happiness is all I'm seeking. Carpe diem, I'm seizing every day, not just the weekend. Here's to all the good times that
when you can afford what you crave, life just gets so good.
I'm so alive and I'm feeling good, so good, so good, so good. Hey,
KFC, so good for everyone.
The Public Works Corporation Board has shed light on its views on the situation regarding laid-off Public Works employees. Andrea Louis has aspects of an interview with the PwC's Deputy Board Chairman.
Deputy Chairman of the PwC Board, Felix Gregoire, says the current situation at the corporation is unfortunate. However, following a meeting with the PSU on Monday, board members made efforts to rectify the matter.
After that meeting, board members had a fast lunch and went to meet with the Dominic of Social Security to discuss the serious situation of the Social Security contributions. And after that, the board met with the senior managers of the corporation after that to impress upon the senior management that we have a crisis.
Gregoire says the proposals put forth by the DPSU, while reasonable, could not be implemented.
The union proposed a rotation of persons to be laid off, or a rotation of the layoff, and then also a work folder which basically reduce hours. And these are not unreasonable proposals to make. But given the situation we were in, we could not have, in fact, implemented those proposals. For one, if we had to send 20 employees employed, send them home, we'd need to give them 2 weeks. So if we have recalled those who were laid off, we would end up with everybody back at work. And that would be what we considered additional costs. So, and plus we did not have the reliable figures to take the decision at that point in time. So hence we extended the layoff period with respect to the 20 employees.
Titus Francis, Simeon Albert, Orlando Moise, Roland John Baptist, Denise Charles, Emil Lancelot, and Felix Gregoire make up the board members of the Public Works Corporation.
The Public Works Corporation is in a very serious financial situation. And to put it simply, the revenue of the corporation is less than the expenses. Now, anytime you have a situation where your revenue is less than your expense, then you're in difficulty. Now, the corporation employs 86 persons. 86. The last report I have said 86. The wage bill of the corporation on a monthly basis is $195,000. And that is made up of $96,000 to be paid to the daily paid workers and $98,000 to the monthly paid workers. And that situation is unsustainable. So the corporation has been trying to find ways to restructure the corporation so that at least the wage bill can be reduced.
The PWC board expects to reach a resolution following the next meeting with the Public Service Union scheduled for Monday.
We're optimistic, and given the dialogue we've had with the union, we are hoping that we will come to some resolution, because at the end of the day, we have a corporation to put back on a good footing.
In an earlier newscast, General Secretary of the Public Service Union, Thomas Later, vowed to take appropriate action if a resolution is not reached following Monday's meeting.
My advice is there are laws governing various activities in this country, and I'd advise my fellow citizens to read those laws, because you don't want any surprises. The best thing is, in all the excitement, read your laws, because that is what will determine what happens.
In other top stories, the MV Klipper stream docked at Woodbridge Bay Tuesday as it celebrated its 100th voyage across the Atlantic.
The MV Klipper stream sails for GEEST Shipping Line. GEEST has been providing service to the Caribbean for the past 60 years. The GEEST line was originally used to ship bananas from the Caribbean to the United Kingdom and has expanded its services over the years to include cargo services, shipping small packages and large project machinery. HHV Whitchurch and the Company Limited has been the local agent for the GEEST line since 1998.
It's been a great privilege, and to not only to represent them, but for the many years that we've been in the shipping business, 100 years, GEEST is always on time. They've done a tremendous amount for Dominica, because they have been provided a very efficient service of cargo coming in and bananas going out. Because if we didn't have this regular service, a banana industry perhaps would not have profited to the same extent. And in addition to that, nowadays they do a lot of interline cargo.
The GEEST line has cultivated a deep trading relationship between the United Kingdom and the Caribbean during its many years of operation.
The GEEST line is we are a chartered vessel for the GEEST line with a long-term relation, and it's very pleasant to work with these people. And here, of course, with many years working with the agency, and it's always a pleasure coming here in Rousseau or in Dominica.
The GEEST shipping line has been commended for its continued assistance to Dominica in the trading industry.
The GEEST operations in Marseille connects a lot of Europe in terms of some of the cargo coming to the Caribbean. And that is to us very good, because we can still have a movement of cargo in and out of Dominica coming out of Europe. You have been a very good, not only customer, but a very good friend to the port. And I want to say I would like to continue that relationship as we go along, building from strength to strength.
In other news now, a young man injured in an accident in 2012 is in dire need of 16,000 euros for brain surgery in Martinique. Lurian Graham Carter reports.
On October 19, 2012, Marcus John was one of the construction workers working with a Chinese team on the West Coast Highway. John was involved in an accident that left one Massac man dead. 3 years later, the 23-year-old is suffering from massive internal bleeding in his head. His family believes it is related to the accident. John's father says his sister was the one who called him and told him of the accident that day.
When I went to down there, I see them take them and bring them to the Portsmouth hospital. When I went down there, I see a man lie down on the bed, dead. And I see my son walking towards me and coming towards me. When I see that, I say, thank you, Father Jesus, my son alive. So when I come that certain time when we were there, they check him. We were ready to go up to Maho. The Chinese man give us money to pay a bus for us to come up to Maho. After we come up to Maho, I bring him home. He go home. Since after that, I see him going and do his little work after that. After that, now he keep on telling me his head hurting him, his head hurting him, his head hurting him. He keep on taking paracetamol, and nothing wrong.
He says Marcus continued to suffer with headaches, which later led to frequent blackouts.
He keep falling down, and after now, his eyes get to get messed up in a kind of like cocklish like. So when I see that, I say anyway, I went by a lady he was living by in Maho. When I went there, I see him coming towards me. I starting to see him walking, and as video scene light in a kind of when I see him I start to cry. When I start to cry, the next day I pick him up and I bring him up to the hospital to take a scan on his head. When he want to take this scan on his head, the doctor tell us, have a meeting with that same girl sitting inside there, his auntie, and tell us, this boy have a mass of huge blood at his back of his head.
Marcus's mother, Carissa Charles, says she was overseas during the accident, but returned when she was told her son had been hospitalized.
I asked the doctor, well, what's wrong with Mark or something? So they told me, well, look, he have a marks behind his head and look that and that. And well, I tell him, okay, doctor. And from that, I keep walking up and down, up and down. They told me, like, Marcus is, they cannot do nothing for him. He have to go to the Martinique hospital to do the surgery. But the surgery, the cost is, it worth 200, it cost 16,000 euro to send him to Martinique. That was on the 17th when I came down. Right. Anyway, when they told me that, I tell them, well, I cannot do nothing for that. I have no money to send Marcus to Martinique.
Marcus' condition has deteriorated significantly. He is no longer able to sit up on his own and needs help eating and maintaining his hygiene. Marcus was unable to speak with us when Channel 5 News visited his home on the heights of Montscope on Wednesday. The family is appealing for help so that Marcus can receive the money he needs in order to access critical surgery in Martinique.
In other news now, the importance of internet access for online research has been emphasized to incoming students of the Dominic State College.
This disclosure was made by Head of Marketing for Lime Dominica, Karim GEEST. GEEST says Lime has an ongoing partnership with the Dominic State College to ensure the well-rounded learning process of students. His statement coincides with Orientation Week.
And for us, it's about continuity in education and how telecommunication forms a bond between the two. You did come from high school, so you would have appreciated our long-standing relationship with the Ministry of Education in supplying internet services free of charge. So that is something that we continue to do to ensure that the students have access to the global village in supporting and ensuring that they have a well-rounded education.
GEEST says strides are being made to enhance internet access on the Stock Farm campus of the Dominica State College.
From a Dominica State College perspective, we have recently partnered with the Ministry of Education in putting together the Center of Excellence, and that is something that we're working on, hopefully to be introduced sometime later on this semester. And we have also worked on the Wi-Fi access across the campus with the Dominica State College as well. And as I said, for us, it's about trying to make sure that you have all the services from a telecommunication perspective that will assist you in making your educational transformation easier.
Orientation Week comes to a close on Friday. Classes begin on Monday, 31st August.
You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, we'll take a look at the status of vagrancy in the country, an issue which is not going away.
There's a place in Portsmouth that's mellow.
The products and services are just mellow.
Located on Harbour Lane in Portsmouth, next to the St. John's School, it's Lois Bakery.
Lois Bakery offers a wide variety of tasty pastries and breads for your satisfaction.
Baked fresh and soft.
So come to Lois for your tasty pastries. Open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Saturday and from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Sundays.
Call 445-4044 today.
Let's be conscious and beware. The climate is changing everywhere. Let's promote more healthy lands to withstand the change at hand. Grow and plant a tree. Let's restore the forest be a lot more conservative with our farming practices. Keep our environment more clean and green. Put an end to all the polluting. For it is our natural beauty we promoting. Let us build resilience against the hurricanes. Stronger homes in our communities. Make a change. Let us be proactive. Rally, rethink, rally, respond, and the coastal pollution. Promote more water conservation. Whoa. Rally, rethink, rally, respond. Plants around the river banks to sustain the water on the land. Yeah, yeah.
Climate change is real. Our actions do matter. Rally, rethink, respond. A message from the OECS and USAID.
Your style, your taste, your look. As individual as you are. Create the room that's all about you with new home furnishings from Quartz. And when you shop today, get a free gift of your choice. Plus, you can make a purchase now and pay absolutely nothing for 90 days. So create the room that's all about you with home furnishings from Quartz. Bringing value home.
Summer 2015 is blazing hot, and Marpin 2k4 just made it hotter with special deals on our internet and cable TV service. Sign in for PingNet and Ping TV between August 24th and 28th and get free installation. Yes, you heard it right. It's free installation. It gets hotter. Customers who have been disconnected can join the summer deals too. Pay your outstanding balance and get reconnected for free. For lucky customers, we'll get a chance to win a tablet. Marpin 2k4 will give an extra reason to smile with our giveaways. Come visit us at our Rosa location to get on board our fast and reliable Ping TV and PingNet service. Because life is better with Marpin.
It's a summertime affair in a day at
Thank you for staying with us. The issue of harassment of tourists always comes up when vagrancy is being discussed. It came up again recently during the delivery of a lecture by consultant psychiatrist Dr. Griffith Benjamin. Responding to a question on the impact of vagrancy on tourism and the role of the private sector, Dr. Benjamin said past attempts to address the issue did not go very well. He made specific reference to efforts in 2004 to address the concern. Benjamin says Dominica is losing ships and tourists because of harassment by vagrants. He believes there needs to be a greater level of commitment by the private sector towards resolving this issue.
In 2004, with the president now, Charles Everett, we thought we were on the go. We thought we were ready to start. But then we did not get the support, as happens in Montserrat, where people are still on the street, but they're not hungry. They were bathed, they're clean, and they're busy finding ways to make legitimate money, which is work. In Dominica, when we tried to start off in 2004, the business sector, the people who could feed the tourists, the vagrants, backed away. They were busy trying to attract tourists, while the vagrants were busy distracting the tourists. And so they dropped the ball. Mr. Savre dropped the ball, in my view, then. And we are in 2015 trying to get the ball again. I hope we catch it this time.
It's really not a new issue, and from the looks of it, the vagrancy problem and its impact on tourism could be with us for some time to come.
Some of the reasons that have kept the process back is legislation. We've been told that the vagrants, they have rights. One of the one of the things that we thought was a solution to the problem, it became even a bigger problem. To physically move them to locations on cruise ship days, those who are misbehaving, that was a problem because on what grounds? You know, we don't have a proper facility to have them kept. They cannot be arrested. If they're arrested, they have to be released maybe the next day. The next day there's a ship and it's compromised. And the whole problem is compounded.
And you may have seen a member of the House of Nyabingi speak out right here on Channel 5 News this week on the disappearance of reggae artist Nelly Star. Nelly Star has been missing now for practically 2 weeks, and the house she and her companion Trevi Felix once occupied is burnt to ashes. Nothing yet from the police as to what happened, but we are told what appeared to be human remains or skeletal remains were found, and forensic experts are working on the case. The Minister for Tourism has also spoken on Nelly Star's disappearance. Mr. Tong made reference to Nelly Star as he gave the rationale for honoring Dominica's female music icons, such as Ophelia, who will be honored at this year's World Creole Music Festival.
It's unfortunate now that we have also lost a potential icon in the name of Nelly Star. It may be her, based on the information at hand, and the Ministry of Tourism and Urban Renewal, the government of Dominica, is really saddened and are there to support the family and friends. I know the family and friends personally. I know Nelly personally myself, and I truly hope, as an individual and as a friend, that she's going to call from Guadalupe Martin and say, you know something, I parked my vehicle out there and I'm not in the house. Most probably it's somebody else. But again, a loss is still going to be a loss because it's going to be somebody who has perished in that fire. So we definitely have to recognize our icons, and we also have to recognize our female icons who have done a great amount of work in Dominica.
And you've heard this many times before, but it's worth repeating. The Deputy Fire Chief has issued a new warning to homeowners to ensure that appliances are turned off when leaving the house. The fire department is still investigating a blaze which nearly completely destroyed the home of Randolph Felix in Walhouse last Friday. Deputy Chief Farley Revere said during the investigations they noticed that an iron appeared to have been left connected prior to the fire. He could not say definitively that that was the cause, I should say, of the fire, but the revelation has triggered a fresh warning to the public to at least have a home safety checklist. Here's what he told me, and that is specifically with reference to the Walhouse fire.
The iron was left on, plugged into the outlet. It was still connected to the outlet, so we can simply say that that could be the cause, but we're still carrying out investigations into that matter. And the area where the iron was left was totally burnt out. And in fire investigations, you look closer to what, or in the area where the fire burnt the most, to conclude as to the source of the fire. In that case, the area where the iron was left was burnt the most. So we concluded then that could be the source of the fire.
He says leaving the iron on could be a very costly mistake.
And sometimes it's accidental. Sometimes we leave our pot on fire, not remembering we had the pot on fire, you know, on the stove. Sometimes we just pull off the pot from the fire and forget to turn it off. Even sometimes the cloth that we use, in case the pot doesn't have the handle, we use the cloth to pull off the pot from the stove. And that cloth would catch fire unsuspectingly. And you have a process of slow burning taking place. It has happened already. I've experienced that very same thing doing fire investigations. And we found out that the very same cloth that was used to put a pot off from the stove caught fire, and the person didn't realize that. And later down in the morning, there was fire in the house. And so that happens. And so we're just asking people to be more vigilant, be safe conscious, because those little things can cause fire, and we wonder, what is it that we did that caused that fire? Definitely, your whole life savings, you know. This can be avoided if we take time out to do a little safekeeping in the house. That's what they suggested this morning. When you're leaving the house, there is a door which you pass to go out of the house. What you can do is to put a checklist, put a safety list right on that area where you're walking out. So it will remind you every day that, okay, did I turn off the stove? Did I turn off the iron? Did I put off the iron? Did I disconnect the gas cylinder? You know, did I do this? Did I do that? Because it's all about safety. And this will remind you. It's right on the door, leaving the house. So when you're about leaving, this notice will be there asking you these questions. And at least it will help you to be safer.
Quite a bit of time is also wasted when you are not sure how to reach the fire department in case of a fire.
The fact that not many people take time out to know the numbers for the emergency departments, like inclusive of the fire service, that is essential because you wouldn't know what to do. You try to find a number, you try to call somebody to get a number for the fire service because you want to inform them that there's a fire somewhere and you do not know it. So time is being spent not informing the fire service, and during that process the fire is ongoing, it's getting worse, it's getting out of control. And when we arrive there is not much that we can do. So we're asking people to please familiarize themselves with the numbers of the fire service. I can tell you right now the fire service number is 448-2888 or 448-2889. Those are the emergency numbers that won't be engaged at all, except if somebody's taking an emergency call from them.
No details on that yet, but the emergency 911 number will be introduced here soon. And that's news. Your sports highlights next.
In sports, Dominica's lone ambassador at the World Games, Jordanis Garcia Duraniona, failed to qualify for the men's triple jump final on Wednesday. He jumped a distance of 16.27 meters to land a spot in overall 21st place. President of the DAAA, Cedric Harris, is saying that Dominica's representation at the 2015 World Championships in Beijing could have been improved with better training facilities. Harris told the Channel 5 Sports from Beijing that while he doesn't want to make excuses for Garcia's performance, things must be looked at practically.
It just wasn't his day. One thing I can say out of that is that when speaking to him after the competition, he did say that he just wasn't feeling it. He just wasn't feeling it, and I feel that the impact on training, his training preparation difference, the surface in Dominica compared to the surface out there, he felt it was one of the issues that he felt that could have assisted him or hindered him from performing that the way he did. I mean, not putting any excuses, but I feel, from a coaching point of view, that Jordan really need to get himself in an environment where, like all the other guys are, training consistently on the proper surface, which means, sad but true, you have to move out of Dominica and look at himself somewhere where he can train and just focus on doing what he does best.
The triple jumpers Olympic qualification is currently in a toss-up as qualification standards are being scrutinized by the IAAF. Meanwhile, 400-meter Olympic gold medalist Grenada's Kirani James had to settle for bronze in the 2015 Beijing World Championships. James ran a top-quality sub-44-second race, but South Africa's Wade van Niekerk edged him and former gold medalist LaShawn Merritt of USA out by hundredths of a second to set a new African record of 43.48 seconds. Merritt copped silver with a time of 43.65 seconds. On to football, Dominica's women suffered another embarrassing defeat on Tuesday night in Santo Domingo, going down to Jamaica 13-0.
Meanwhile, the national senior women team lost their second and final match in the CONCACAF Olympic qualifiers in the Dominican Republic last night. They went down by 13-0 against Jamaica. The Cicero girls conceded 8 goals in either side of the half, while in the CFU Under-17 girls qualifiers in St. Kitts, the host country defeated Dominica 1-0, the goal for St. Kitts coming in the second half of play.
Meanwhile, national midfielder Brielle Thomas left Ireland on Wednesday to take up training with semi-professional team WC Connection in Trinidad. Thomas will spend 1 month with the Trinidad side and hopes to secure a contract. Another national midfielder, Anthony Frederick, is also playing with the side. In some basketball action, or lack thereof, the wait for Game 3 in the Division 1 playoff finals is still on. Carrie FM Old School and Elijah Law Chambers Thunderers were set to meet in Game 3 on Tuesday night at Massac, but had to turn away because of bad weather and a slippery court. This is the second time that this game has been called off for pretty much the same reason. Up to broadcast time, a new date for Game 3 was not yet finalized. Both teams are neck and neck after 2 games of play. That's all the time we have for sports. Join us next time.
And the center of Erica expected to move near or over portions of the northern islands Wednesday night. More on that in your weather report next.
The weather is brought to you by Sagicor, wise financial thinking for life.
Good evening, Dominic, and welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I'm your presenter, Marshall Alexander. We begin by taking a look at earlier infrared satellite imagery, and of interest here is this area of deep convection, which is actually Tropical Storm Erica, located just east of the islands. At 5 p.m., the center of Tropical Storm Erica was located near latitude 16.6 degrees north, longitude 58.9 degrees west, or about 195 miles east of Antigua. The maximum sustained winds are near 45 miles per hour, and the movement is towards the west near 17 miles per hour. Minimum central pressure is 1005 millibars. On the projected path, Erica is expected to move across the Leeward Islands during tonight and into tomorrow, and watches and warnings have been issued for some of these islands. Now, taking a look at earlier radar imagery, what it indicates: scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms across most of the islands in association with Tropical Storm Erica. Tonight's weather is expected to be generally cloudy to overcast at times, with showers and isolated thunderstorms, and similar conditions can be expected tomorrow with an increase in wind speeds, with winds coming from the southeast near 45 kilometers per hour. Persons in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and falling rocks, you're advised to exercise extreme caution. Sea conditions are expected to be moderate to rough in open water with waves up to 10 feet. A small craft warning is in effect for above normal sea swells. Small craft operators and sea beavers, particularly on the northern and eastern coast, you're advised to exercise extreme caution. Conditions for the next 3 days: increased cloudiness with showers and thunderstorms expected tomorrow due to the passage of Erica. However, by Friday, a relative improvement in conditions can be expected, and by Saturday, an increase in cloudiness with scattered showers can be expected due to the approach of a tropical wave. Conditions for the rest of the Caribbean: increased cloudiness with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms can be expected across the northern portion of the region, with a slight improvement in conditions expected across the southern portion of the island chain. Our international cities forecast: partly cloudy skies expected in New York and Beijing, some thunderstorm activity expected in Miami and Caracas, with partly cloudy skies expected in London with a few scattered showers. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:52 a.m. and sunset will be at 6:22 p.m. Please remember that we are in the hurricane season. For more information, you can call the weather hotline at 447-5555 or visit our website at weather.gov.dm. Thanks for viewing. Have a good night.
How do I look, Mommy?
Perfect. When you've been here, you know what's important. Protect it with Sagicor. Wise financial thinking for life.
The headlines: Public Works bent on resolving its current financial crisis through restructuring and reducing its wage bill. The MV Klipper stream docks at Woodbridge Bay as the GEEST Boat celebrates its 100th voyage across the Atlantic, and time is running out for a construction worker who could go without critical brain surgery if his family fails to raise 16,000 euros to make it happen. Send your questions and comments to news@marpin2k4.com. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching.